So annotating is going to be a bit different for everyone, but we've put together a bit of a flowchart of roughly the same steps that will emerge. So first of all, you need to read and highlight your source. You need to know if it's actually a good source. You're then going to make some key comments about the quotes that you think help to support your question and your ideas. Then you're going to try as much as possible to summarize this information into your own words, because when you go to write your outcome, you're going to have a lot of data sitting there. It is much more useful to have that data set up with the quotes supporting and your interpretation. So when you go to write your outcome, you can use your interpretation with the quotes to support. It saves you from doing plagiarizing your behaviors. Really important, try to identify the key purpose of this source. So if you read a website and it really helps you to define your key terms, brilliant. If it really helps you to find some great experts, if it helps you to answer part 2 of your question, awesome. It's totally dependent on the source. So then we need to show how the source would be used in the outcome. When you first start, that can be really hard to do. You might not know. But linking it to a focus question is usually a good way to check that the notes that you are taking are actually notes that you'll use in your outcome. Don't just take random notes. What you want to do is say, okay, if the first focus question for my topic is what is underwater knitting, the first sources that I'm probably going to look at are going to be about what is underwater knitting. They might also have information about my second focus question, which might be what are the benefits of underwater knitting? And so if I take my notes thinking about those focus questions, then I can actually use the resource really well, because I'm taking notes that will help support my overall research paper at the end. It can be really useful to show planning as you step through your annotations. So what do you actually want to do next? Because I read this source, I'm now feeling like I need to go check out this person. Maybe I need to email them. Maybe I need to find some more resources that, maybe they've said something really controversial. I need to pursue that more. Maybe the source raised really complicated information and now we don't understand what it means. I just realized that I've lost my jacket. Oh well, I'll find it. So define any terms using a dictionary and create a glossary if you can. Conduct your source analysis, and then after you've done all of this, comment on anything you still don't know. So if you have a source and it really helps you to define what underwater knitting is, or whatever your topic is, awesome. But what else do you still need to find out? It's really important you're reflecting on this as you go through, because you need to manage your own learning here, and it's really complicated if you've got all these different parts to your question. As you go through the sources, we strongly recommend you do a cross-check, which is where you find the similarities and differences between the sources. So you would be saying it was interesting that this source actually mentioned this aspect because that matches this source over here. Whoa, look at the weird distorted angle. My hands look huge. Okay, so you may journal about usefulness and limitation. You may not journal about today I had a really good day and research project was great. We don't care, okay? What we want is performance standards. So if you're going to write journals, they're like little thought bubbles of what have you actually learnt, what have you developed in your capability, what have you developed in your ethics, what have you learnt in your skills, but not just a dear diary, today I did research project. Which brings me to the last one. We want to see regular evidence of you talking about your ethics and your capabilities. Now, that doesn't mean that every single source is going to add to your skill development of that. You might find you talk about your capabilities maybe every second resource, or maybe once on a page, but above that, you've actually got 10 sources because they're all just websites. You can only develop your ethics so far by reading websites. So writing the same thing over and over is not development. You will actually score worse if you write regularly and don't actually show any development. So that's the first module of our annotations. I'm going to talk you through an example in a second, and you can use this as a guide. There's lots of resources available for annotating because it is a long process to begin with, but you